to the show. We are making our way through my meal plan for the week. It's been a delicious week of easy and kind of fancy feeling dinners done on a bit of a budget, which is my favorite thing. Today is day 4 and it is steak night. We are making a super simple flank steak with an arugula salad. Honestly, steak's always a good thing, and when it's a Thursday, that's Friday Junior, so it's a reason to celebrate. Always a good thing. So we're gonna make a delish flank steak here, and flank steak is great. This is actually a tip that I steal from my mom, Berg, and she says if you're gonna be cooking steak for people, why cook a bunch of individual ones when you can just make one giant steak and then cut it up for everybody to eat. It's a really great way to do it, especially if you're a little nervous about cooking meat. So the first thing I wanna do, anytime you're using steak that you can really see the grain in, you see kind of the way that this meat runs and the muscle kind of runs, you wanna do a little bit of a marinade. That's gonna tenderize the meat just slightly, flavor it up, and it's gonna be totally delish. But this is a quick marinade. So the first thing I need to do is use my handy dandy zip top bag, because that's what I use for my marinades. Make sure all that flavor touches that meat the whole time. So I'm just gonna roll that down. And this is a very simple marinade to remember. First thing I need is a 1/4 cup of oil. So I'm just gonna drizzle that right on into this beautiful bag. And while I'm doing that, I'm also gonna add in a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. Had to give it a whiff because we got something that looks like balsamic vinegar right next to it. That balsamic vinegar, that acidity is gonna kind of get into that meat and give it a ton of flavor. It's gonna be delish. Now for a little bit of saltiness, I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So just in case you can't remember, we got a 1/4 cup of each ingredient. Very simple marinade recipe to remember. And now we're gonna add some mustard. Can you guess how much mustard? A 1/4 cup, nailed it. Everybody's listening real good today, I love it. All right, so I'm gonna toss in, I'm using grainy Dijon mustard, but you can use any kind of Dijon. It's really nice and bright, a little bit peppery. So about a 1/4 cup of that. Now, I am gonna go a little off book here and do about 2 to 3 tablespoons of some prepared horseradish. I don't know about you, but my mom loves a steak and she loves a little bit of that spicy, briny horseradish with it. So I'm gonna toss that on in. Prepared horseradish is great. It's got vinegar in it. It's a little bit spicy. It's tangy. It's delish. Brings acidity again, which is awesome. Now I'm also gonna toss in 3 cloves of garlic that I've just chopped up, nice and minced. Toss that in. And since this is a quick marinade, I want that garlic fine because that's gonna help it touch more of the steak and get that flavor in there. So now a little bit of pepper in there. I don't really need salt because I've already added that soy sauce, and soy sauce is really nice and salty. It brings like an umami-ness into the steak, which is perfect. So I'm just gonna toss, basically what I do now is I kind of pick up the bag and do a really weird thing, which is just like mush it around a bit, which doesn't look cute, but it's gonna taste good. So now I've just got 1.5 kilos of flank steak here. Typically they come anywhere from like 1.5, sometimes all you can find is 2 kilos, but too much steak, never a thing in our house. So I'm gonna pop this baby right somehow, get it into this bag. This is the hardest part of the recipe, is fitting this into this bag. Am I gonna be able to do it? Nailed it, perfect. We got it, Thank you. Now zip this up, and you wanna remove as much of the air as possible. So just kind of smush it down, and then just massage a little bit of that marinade all over that steak. This looks really weird, but it's gonna taste delicious. Now, when you're marinating steak, if you go by my mom's rules, this has to go in the fridge for 24 hours. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. That flavor is gonna get in there in only 30 minutes. If you want, you can leave this at room temperature. You're gonna get a nice little bit of flavor in there. That's gonna bring that steak up to room temperature and get that flavor in there. If you did wanna do it in advance though, pop that in the fridge for up to 8 hours or kind of overnight. Then take it out of the fridge, again, let it come up to room temp and you're good to go. We have one right over here, because we were busy this morning, which is always a good thing. So I've got that steak, and now I wanna cook this baby. So I wanna get it out of this marinade, because you want golden brown color on your steak. So just open up that bag, you can see the flavor has penetrated into that meat, because you can see the color is a little bit different. That's a big piece of meat. This is weird for someone who doesn't eat meat to be doing, but I love it so much. All right, so that's a huge steak. It's like, I feel like Fred Flintstone, and I'm not mad about it. All right, so I do wanna dry this off with a little bit of paper towel, because essentially, when we want golden brown color, you want things to be as dry as possible. So just dry that off. Flip it over. And then what I like to do when I'm searing steak, whether it's on the barbecue or in a pan, rather than put the oil in the pan, which can kind of lead to splatter, I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of oil onto that meat. If you wanted to, you could add a bit, I know, right? You feel very chefy, drizzling oil onto a steak. And now I've got a pan here over medium-high heat. It's gonna be smoking hot. You could also do this on the grill, that would be perfect. But I'm gonna pop this baby on into that pan. You need to use a big pan because it's a big piece of meat. But basically, I wanna cook this until it is whoops. We got it. Nailed it. We want to cook this until it is medium rare. All right, are you ready for a sizzle? We're gonna go sizzle. 1, 2, 3. Nice. That steak, ooh, she hot. That steak is gonna take about, this is crazy, 7 to 8 minutes per side. A lot of people are gonna tell you flank steak cooks in 2 to 3 minutes per side. That baby's still gonna be mooing if you only do it for 2 to 3 minutes. 7 to 8 is gonna get you a perfect medium rare on the inside per side. So while that does its thing, I'm gonna make a real quick salad. I've got some arugula right here, and to be honest, I like mimicking the flavors that's going on in that marinade. So all I'm gonna do is add a little bit, wait, let's see if I can remember, of balsamic vinegar. You gotta give it a smell if you're using soy sauce at the same time. If you wanted to make more of an emulsified vinaigrette, you could add some of that mustard into there. Drizzle on a little bit of oil. If you had lemon, you could throw that in too, a little bit of lemon zest, lemon juice, but we're keeping it breezy. Now, I might lose some people here, but I'm throwing on some blue cheese because it's not steak night without some blue cheese. Pop that on, season that up with some salt and pepper, and that is gonna be the most delicious, quick, easy green side for that steak. So the point of Meal Plan Week has been to get you to think outside the box and get creative with the meals that you're making, which is why I also want to show you how this delicious steak dinner can also be lunch tomorrow. But first off, we got to serve up that dinner. This is the grand reveal. We've got that steak cooked perfectly. Look at that baby. Ooh, that looks good. Listen, I may not eat beef, but nothing makes meat eaters happier than seeing a big old steak. It is such a delicious thing. I'm getting thumbs up from cameramen, and that is a very good thing. All right, so we have got this rested. Anytime you're cooking meat, you do want to give it a chance to rest once it comes out of the pan. Because basically when it comes out of the pan, it's really tight. It is like kind of a muscle, and it's really, really tight. And you want to give it a chance to just chill out, because all those juices are just gonna stay in that meat then, and it's gonna be perfect. So when you're cutting flank steak, this is a little bit of a trick. Well, you need to know this. You see this grain, that thing that we were talking about earlier, you see the way it runs. You wanna cut against it. If I were to cut this way, you're gonna be chewing a lot. So you want this knife to do some of that kind of chewing for you. So basically, against the grain, just cut nice, thick slices. Oh, that's a good medium rare. Oh man, that is a beautiful steak. Slice that up. I like to go to a bit of an angle. My mom, love her so much. She grills one heck of a delicious flank steak, but she cuts it like this way. Like the knife is on the weird angle. It's very strange to me. But anyway, this is looking beautiful. It's tender, it's delish. Plate that baby up. This is one of those things where you can 2 slices of that, absolutely beaut. That beautiful medium rare on the inside, looking so good, out of control. Pop a little bit of that beautiful salad on the side, and you have got a dinner for the ages. The perfect Thursday food for Friday Junior. All right, now, we have all this steak left over. What are we gonna do with this steak? I mean, oh gosh, nobody wants leftover steak, am I right? I know, yeah. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how to make a really quick steak sandwich that you can prep the night before, get it done, and it's gonna be delish. First thing I wanna do is I'm gonna thinly slice up a little bit more of this steak. So basically, anytime I'm doing a sandwich, you already gotta work to get through that bread. So you wanna thinly slice this. So typically what I do with my leftovers, rather than slicing this whole hunk of meat the night of, I actually leave it whole and then slice it the next day for those sandwiches. So honestly, I'm having a great time slicing this steak, so I'm gonna keep doing it. We're just gonna hang out here for a sec while I slice up this steak. Honestly, my mom and everyone in my family, real steak eaters. Aaron, not so much. He's happy with vegetarian mains most of the time, but every once in a while, my mom gets a craving for a steak, and it's truly my favorite. People come over to my house whenever anybody's coming over. I got a friend coming over next weekend. I'm making steak, because I love cooking steak. I just don't eat it. So it's like my favorite thing in the world. Perfect. Now that's looking great. We've got enough for some sandwiches. I also have some baguette here. You could also use like a ciabatta baguette, any sort of good bread, even like a nice sourdough loaf would be beautiful. So I've split those in half and they are looking good. But now I need something for a little bit of moisture and sauciness because I love a sauce. So I've got a bowl here and I want to make up a nice kind of spicy flavored mayonnaise that kind of mimics the flavors that are going on in that steak. So I've got some mayo here and I need about a half a cup of that. This will make more than enough for like just this sandwich, so don't worry, we're not putting half a cup of mayo on this sandwich. You can do that if you want, but we don't have to. So pop that in there. I'm also gonna add in a little more of that horseradish, just about 2 to 3 tablespoons. It's gonna thin this mayo out and give it a really nice kind of kick and spice. Now, I do like raw garlic. I think it's the thing that keeps me healthy in life. That little bit of spice, really, really good. So I'm gonna grate in a clove of raw garlic. It kind of gives you aioli vibe. You know what I mean? That kind of nice garlicky mayonnaise. Pop that in, give that a mix. Season that up with a little bit of pepper. Looking beautiful. And then I'm just gonna spread this onto this beautiful baguette. So maybe we are using a lot of mayonnaise. Don't be mad, it's fine. It tastes good, it's Thursday, you deserve it, it's fine. All right, now I'm also gonna throw a bit of mustard on the top there. Just some Dijon, you could use grainy Dijon again to mimic that flavor that's going on in that marinade, but plain Dijon has a little bit more of a kick to it, which is not a bad thing. Now, we're putting that steak on, but of course, look at all this steak and juiciness, look at that beautiful steak. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. This is one of those things where I'm like, no, it's not gonna eat it, but someone else is gonna eat it. Looking beautiful. A little bit of that arugula right on top, just for some green, because again, you gotta have greens with your mayonnaise and steak. Feeling good. Now I'm gonna pop this over onto my board. And then onto there, a little more of that beautiful blue cheese. Little bit of funk, little bit of creaminess, and absolutely out of control. Look at that steak sandwich. Woo! All right, now as we know, I don't eat steak. So to give this a try, please welcome one of our amazing crew members, Joe. Come on out, Joe. Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Very good. Better now.
I know, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
So Joe told our producer, Charlotte, she was like, if I eat on TV, I don't want to eat chicken. I want to eat steak.
Oh,
So
the
now we're
real
doing it.
stuff. The
Yeah,
red meat. It's good.
You're good to go. Okay, how's it going? You're allowed to talk with your mouth full on this show. Oh. Oh, number 1.
Very good.
Good. Would you say it's almost too hot to handle?
I would.
Does anyone remember Justin? He also eats on this show, and one
I
time he
would
burnt
say.
his mouth. Yeah. Amazing, Joe. You keep digging in.
I
I'm going
will.
to chat about tomorrow. So tomorrow is the last day of meal plan week, and we'll be using up any leftovers from last night's risotto. That's right. We're making arancini. And if you don't have my grocery list, it's not too late to get it. Just scan the QR code on your screen or check out our Instagram page or thegoodstuff.ca and get shopping so you can cook along with me tomorrow and catch up with all this week's recipes. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of The Good Stuff.